Don't wreck, head banging in the Tesla, that's breakneck. On the road, up pretty fat, women in fat checks.
Attention.
Last test, is it true that you ain't with Taz? Yes. Turn up the bass, now go. I need the whole earth to hear my flow. Yeah. Act like you know. 1, 2, 3, we been here before. How it get so dark, that gun when you get too small. Getting high in it and pour. Contact high for my score.
Johnson Valley is located in a desolate stretch of sun-bleached boulders and barren desert between Joshua Tree National Park and 29 Palms Marine Corps Air Ground Combat Center. It is an unforgiving environment where only the strong survive. It is also the location where 13 years ago a unique event combining off-road racing and rock crawling named King of the Hammers was born. Only 12 teams raced during this inaugural event, which was held without spectators by invitation only. Today, over 400 teams and 80,000 spectators assemble every year to witness the most attended racing event in North America. They'll race everything from home-built vehicles all the way up to T1 trucks and anything in between. This motley assortment of vehicles ranges from $10,000 homemade trucks and crawlers lashed together out of blood, sweat, and motor oil to vehicles and teams that cost millions of dollars to assemble. From passion projects scrapped together out of elbow grease and a love of racing to top-of-the-line vehicles that cost over 20 times the average U.S. annual salary, all are allotted a place at King of the Hammers. The drivers themselves come to King of the Hammers from all over the world and from all walks of life. For some, this is a hobby they commit excess funds to. For others, this is a driving passion that is a full-time commitment they pour every spare ounce of time and money into. No matter the reason, everyone comes to King of the Hammers to celebrate the one thing they all share: an undying passion for off-road racing. As a lifelong racing fan and participant, no one exemplifies that passion better than Justin Reece of Rusty Nail Racing driving the 4619.
My name is Justin Reece. I'm originally from Grand Junction, but we just moved to Ridgeway. We lived in Southern Oregon for the last 21 years. Rusty Nail Racing truck is 4619 stock class, and it's the only Toyota to ever win EMC stock class. What inspired me to get into racing was I'm a longtime rock crawler. I mean, when I was a kid, I would take anything with gears apart. I had a Toyota when I was 15 or 16 years old and started messing with that, and that naturally progressed into rock crawling. And then in 2008, I heard about this little event out in the desert, and it was little back then. We volunteered to go run a checkpoint for this new event, King of the Hammers. It was its second year. And we went out there and I was hooked. I mean, we helped somebody swap a motor the night before the race. Saw Shannon Campbell come tearing through the desert like I've never seen anybody drive before, and I'm like, I have to be part of this.
This first showing at King of the Hammers ignited a fire that has led him to participate every year since. Whenever he gets a spare moment away from his job of 19 years as the battalion commander in a Colorado fire department, Justin is working on his truck, making sure it's ready for next year's race. Whether he's fighting fires or turning wrenches, Justin needs to have a comprehensive knowledge of the terrain, his vehicle, and his own limitations. But no one, not even Justin, comes to King of the Hammers expecting to succeed on their own steam. It takes a team with an inexhaustible supply of skill sets, talents, and experience to get a truck out onto the course. Year after year, this amazing crew of skilled workers assembles to support Justin in his drive to compete one more year. Rusty Nail Racing's team hails from all over the country as well as Canada. Almost every member of Justin's team is either a firefighter, a Land Cruiser enthusiast, or both. This year, Cameron and Justin will be tackling King of the Hammers as brothers and teammates, with Cameron acting as Justin's co-driver.
My name's Cameron Reece. I grew up right in Grand Junction, went to Fruita High School. I work at the Grand Junction Regional Airport as a contract administrator, so a 9-to-5 desk job and outside of racing. I'm married. I have 2 dogs and 8 chickens. Everything revolves around racing, especially when I'm with my brother. Growing up, he's always been the bigger brother, and when we were little kids, he would always beat me up because he was always bigger, but I was faster, so I'd get in the punch and then take off running. Justin, my brother, was the one that got us into cars. He has always been into Toyota Land Cruisers, but I remember when Justin asked me after he had a couple different co-drivers about it would be really cool if we did it together as brothers. It's a really awesome story for both of us just to get in the race truck and race together.
To be successful at King of the Hammers, it's important to have a substantial army of supporters behind you. But how do you get ready? How do you prepare for such a physically and mentally punishing event? One that will truly test your resolve, your drive, and your will to succeed. To prepare for the race and learn the ins and outs of the course, most teams engage in a pre-running day. On that day, vehicles from every class are out on the course, shaking their trucks down and making any final adjustments. It's all coming down to the wire for thousands of people as race day approaches and teams all over the valley prepare for the punishing days to come. As we attempted to keep up with Team 4619 during pre-running, we soon found we were ill-equipped to follow a vehicle of this caliber. Despite our attempts to plan for the speeds and the terrain, we eventually fell behind.
I freaking broke the seat on the Raptor. I'm pretty sure my ass was on the roof. Put your seatbelt. I was literally, get me the out of this vehicle. Holy I'm pretty sure I lost my e-cig somewhere. My phone is gone. Oh, damn, that was fun as
We still had an amazing day chasing the Red Bull truck and meeting legendary photographer Larry Chen, who was filming a rat rod desert racing phenomenon.
This is my 9th year covering King of the Hammers. We just love the race. There's nothing else like it. It's Burning Man for the off-road and car culture world. You see builds like this all the time on the lake bed, and that's kind of what we're here today to kind of capture whatever builds we can find. While this was on the SEMA show floor a couple months ago, sorry, my lips are frozen. It's really nice to actually see it out in the desert, dirty, and this is, what it was built for. The sport of rock crawling and King of the Hammers in general has evolved so much over the course of 9 years. When I first came here, I already thought it was pretty crazy, and Hammertown to me was like so big. But now you can't even get in. The traffic is so bad, it's worse than LA traffic. We used to just come out for a couple days, but now it's not unheard of to kind of be out here for 10 days just to check out all of the races, all the festivities, and all the fun that King of the Hammers has to offer.
Eventually, we wound up back in Hammertown after a day of driving all over Johnson Valley just in time to watch the sunset. Every year, a group of hundreds assembles on Means Dry Lake Bed in Johnson Valley to build Hammertown. Hammertown is a temporary city of vendors, race trailers, and tents that will support tens of thousands of spectators during King of the Hammers. By some metrics, Hammertown has been described as the fastest growing city in the world. With an atmosphere ripped straight out of Mad Max, Hammertown is a unique and vibrant place with a personality all its own. You never know who you'll run into. One day, you might encounter someone like these fine gentlemen.
Fifth year King of the Hammers. We're out here. We're doing it. I mean, every year King of the Hammers gets bigger and bigger, and it's just, the community's great. Just keeps on growing, getting better.
The next day, you might run into the godfather of rock crawling himself.
I came down here for the first time in 1984, shortly after I put my dual case in. And at the time, I came out here with the Victor Valley Four-Wheelers, which is the four-wheel drive club that the Bureau of Land Management approached to help open this area. I had met them at the Cal four-wheel drive meetings, and they invited me to come out with my little Toyota, which I was flattered, but I had these guys whipped because I had lower gears than any of them. So it was pretty cool because I was out doing quite well and I was wheeling with the Jeep. So I've been out here since '94. I am flattered to see where this has gone. The sport has evolved. Yes, there's still some rock crawling, but now it's into bigger tires. When I started, I was running 33-inch tires. I'm more into the crawling end of it, but I'm definitely for this sport. And I'm very excited to see where this has gone and the opportunity that there is on the course for both.
Not only can you find just about anyone at Hammertown, when it comes to tools or parts, you can also find just about anything. And what you can't find, you can probably have fabricated.
People used to have to travel 3,000 miles and bring a major truck full of every tool they own. And instead of having 300 racers have to do that, we do it. We only have to come 500 miles and it's only one truckload, not 30 truckloads. So you see, we're a green company. We really just did it for the people that have to travel and not have to carry so much. They got to carry enough as it is. So we're here to get them to the starting line. The rest is up to them. My guys, they come out here, they love to get out of the shop. They're production welders day in, day out, but coming out here, they get to show what they can really do. And these guys are amazing. Some of the work they put out here fixing it, but about half of our repairs are to non-racers, spectators. But if they break on their first day out of 7 days, why the hell did they tow 3,000 miles? We're here to make them have a good time.
As the sun sets over Hammertown, everyone prepares for what's to come in different ways. For some, there is plenty of fun to be had at Chocolate Thunder, where excited masses of race fans gather to witness rock crawlers growl their way up the mountain. For others, the chill in the night air combines with the latent tension to create an electric atmosphere. As teams all over the valley make final preparations and dial in last-minute changes as they review the course they'll face tomorrow.
Is there anybody else outside that we should incorporate into this? I don't know who's out there, but...
Justin and his team hold a final meeting to discuss logistics and ensure that every member of his team knows when and where to be. It is decided that Matt Carpentier will serve as Justin's co-driver for the first leg of the race, after which Cameron will take over. Attention to detail during this meeting is crucial. Something as small as a 3-cent part could easily end 4619's day and chances of victory. Whether it's due to the influence of nervous anticipation or wild excitement, no one will be getting much sleep tonight.
I'm ready to get off the start line for damn sure. We had guys stage our truck for us. We stayed warm in the motorhome like a bunch of prima donnas.
I remember being out in the middle of the desert with my brother Justin, and we had a fuel issue problem, and we're cleaning out the fuel filter, and I was in a hurry wrenching on the truck, and he just said, "Whoa, stop, listen to that." And you listen, and it was dead silent, and the desert out there is so beautiful, because all you really hear is the sound of your engine, and sometimes you'll see a little dust trail from another vehicle, but it's just you, your brother, and the truck.
As the word is given, they're off, jockeying for position down the first stretch to remote pit 1.
We'll be doing possibly a fuel splash, tires on either of them if they need it, and a torque check in case there's noises making or if anything's vibrating. Other than that, they should just give us a peace sign or a wave through.
The first time through, 4619 skipped remote pit 1 and set out on their first loop.
Gotta get a little nervous. I don't want to let my brother down. Looked at the course map, reviewed it several times, closed my eyes, pictured what the course looks like. I'm feeling more confident.
Remote pits are periodically scattered throughout the course to provide a safe haven for battered vehicles to receive repairs and refuel. It was at this point Matt Carpentier swapped places with Cameron Reece. 4619 took the last opportunity they'd have for some time to refuel, check the torque on almost every bolt, and inspect the driveline for damage. And just like that, the Reece brothers were in command of the 4619.
It's a good crawling machine. I mean, when it gets on the rocks, it hooks and goes. You know, it's a brother team, so hopefully they finish it this year and get first again, and hopefully they do very well.
Sometime after leaving remote pit 1, a red Jeep attempted to go around Justin and Cameron.
We get on that sand hill, we're running a 4-cylinder, we probably got 100 horsepower. And we're fighting our way up that sand hill. And I never heard a thing until there was a Jeep on 2 wheels driving uphill, and he did a hell of a job of saving it. Another guy in our class. Yeah, you can still see his tire marks with the red paint on there. I can't believe he didn't bust our tire off. Dawson, you didn't even hurt my inner fender well.
When everyone's gunning for first place, accidents are inevitable. As any racer will tell you, rubbing is racing, and all's fair when you're navigating such a brutal course.
We see Hammertown. Oh yeah, you're in physically third place.
.693 just stalled. I feel really bad for them because obviously for them I wish they won, but I hope we destroy them. So Justin now is catching them.
Looks like Josh is jamming up the main line. Hopefully Jesse tries to get around that right side. Yeah, he's like right in the middle. Real bad spot. Oh shit. Well, now Jesse's jamming up that side. What do you think? Yep. See where this 4800 car goes. I think what do you think about trying the left line? That 4800 car got it. I mean, it's a little tippy, but might go for it. That'd be epic if he did. Alright, let's get in there and see what it feels like.
And then we dropped into Chocolate Thunder, and it didn't look like there was going to be any traffic in there. But Josh Atterbury was the one stuck right in the main line. He had a fuel pickup tube that had broken off, so he wasn't picking up fuel. And then that forced Jesse to take the right line, which is also a great line. But where your left front kind of digs in there, it gotten pretty dug out. So then you got Jesse rolled in the secondary line, and we got a 4800 car that just took a gnarly left line, and I've done way nastier shit than that. And I'm like, let's give it a shot.
Good job, Justin!
God damn it. Nope, I'm good. What do I do? Well, let me just wait. It's super tippy. I don't want it to roll all the way over. Just stay in here. Shit. Oh, are you alright, dude? Yeah, I'm good. Sorry about that. No, I'm good.
That was a dumb mistake. That snuck up on me.
Nope, the last guy almost did the same thing.
I knew we'd picked off most of the field already, so I felt really good going into the rocks. And honestly, I think that's when I started pushing it too hard. I'm overly confident in the rocks, and it usually pays off.
They are tying off to a rock right above you right now for you to winch off of to try to flip you back over.
Yeah.
They're underneath your chest.
Copy.
At this point, 4619's engine had completely hydrolocked. Once their truck was righted, Justin and Cameron had to work together to purge the engine by popping the spark plugs out and pumping out the oil from the cylinders. Justin and Cameron worked feverishly to clear the engine and provide fuel pumped from their own tank to the stalled vehicle. While this was happening, other racers decided to take a risk and attempt to get ahead. While the aid team worked to clear these vehicles, Justin worked tirelessly to help move rocks and otherwise assist in clearing the course, going out of his way to help his own competitors in the hopes that no one else would flip while trying to traverse the difficult terrain.
That'd be easier if you've been working out recently, Cameron. Yeah, I know a trainer.
What place do you think you're in right now?
Well, if the guy in front of me gets out of the way, I'm in third. That white Jeep that got by, that guy's got to be in first.
Eventually, the course was cleared and the 4619 was once again on its way. Tough obstacles and setbacks are expected from a course as grueling as this one. However, when you're racing on an unforgiving wasteland, the smallest oversight could come back to haunt you. In their eagerness to get back on the road after Chocolate Thunder and make back lost time, Justin and Cameron had left their tow strap in the hands of the tow vehicle from earlier that day. Now they found themselves stuck in the rocks with no way out. Cameron was left with no choice but to hurry back on foot to remote pit 2. Waiting on his brother's return was agonizing as Justin stayed with the truck.
I think we're still in third place, too.
You are. You're absolutely in third.
Well, he and I rolled trying to make a pass.
From here on out, the 4619 could not afford any more complications if they wished to place in this year's race.
Use that one up high to your left.
Sweaty and weak, Cameron arrived back at 4619 and instantly began working with Justin to free their stuck vehicle. After navigating their truck safely out of the treacherous rocks, the Reece brothers returned to the course and to the single-minded pursuit of their ultimate goal.
I've been chasing God. I've been chasing Mercury and lightning. I've been pressing hard. I've been coming up short. Lately I've been thinking about
The physical exhaustion and crushing mental fatigue inherent with such a grueling race eventually takes a toll. At this point, every racer is bound to start making mistakes. And Justin and Cameron are no exception. Shortly after unsticking their vehicle, the 4619 missed a turn. As the day wore on, some other finishers had crossed the line. But 4619 was still nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, gotta thank our title sponsor, Larry Chen.
The deadline for racers to finish was 6 p.m., and both Justin and Cameron knew that if they didn't push themselves and their vehicle to the absolute limit, they might not make it. At this point, tension in the 4619 was electric as lights from Hammertown appeared on the horizon. Justin and Cameron gave everything they had to reach the finish line. With just minutes to spare before the deadline, 4619 blew across the finish line, cementing their 5th place position.
We did not have a clean day at all. We had a clean first lap, lost one fuel pump, but we definitely threw it away. We took too many chances. We're defending a title we won last year and pushed it a little too hard, got hung up in the rocks, rolled. It was ugly.
Out of roughly 30 vehicles that started the race that morning, only 5 would finish that night.
Dude, you guys kicked ass, man. I think that made the story, who you guys are. You coming back next year?
Oh yeah.
Next time though, what the you gotta let us see these balls get shaved.
Yeah.
Or the shaft, whatever whatever got shaved, you gotta let us see.
It was the whole hedge.
Okay. We'll bring somebody that's willing to look.
Joining me on stage now, this is a man that most people will know. It's Justin Reece, last year's 4600 class winner. Justin, how are we doing?
It was a hell of a lot of fun.
Well, we saw a whole load of 4600 class cars cuddling up on Chocolate Thunder, and you were taking some, shall I say, inventive lines.
Yeah, that was, so we were battling out with Jesse Haynes for first place right then, and he and I started towards the back of the pack, but damn near side to side. So I was like, okay, here's our shot. If you're gonna take a chance during the day, take a shot right now because you ain't touching Jesse in the rocks, and I'm pretty damn good in the rocks. And I took a chance. I rolled, hydrolocked the motor, and you know, sometimes you win them and sometimes you don't.
To these competitors battling it out in the Badlands, the real achievement is finishing the race. This year, Justin and Cameron have fought hard to share that victory as brothers. Although competing in this year's race leaves Justin's body exhausted, his spirit is unbroken.
Here's the real win.
Bobby. So I'll tell you something else that's really cool is that late in the race,
and there's still so many fans out there greet us to come across the stage for an official finish on time. And thanks to all the fans for being able to sticking around and cheering 5th place of stock class. You know, you guys had a long day out there.
No, I'd just like to thank Justin Reece and the crew for having us down from Canada. The 4 of us came down, they needed help with their fits, and we'd never been here before. It was a fantastic experience, glad he finished, and hopefully we'll come back next year. Maybe he'll win again.
Listening on the radio the whole time, I'm like, damn, Justin's just getting into a lot of shit non-stop.
Thanks for the line of chocolate. I took your line that you rolled in. I made it. Did you really? I did. Baller, dude. It was baller.
Justin Reece, man, dude's an inspiration. I mean, he's been doing this for so long. He's one of the OGs of this game. One of the most consistent guys out here in finishing. In a leaf-sprung 4-cylinder truck. He knows this like the back of his hand. He took a risk today. Sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't. And you always need a little bit of luck at the end of the day. And we just didn't have that little bit of luck today.
I didn't want to let my brother down. Like I just kept on saying, okay, if I don't hustle here, then I'm not going to be able to be on the podium with him. So I just kept on pushing. And all the people down here that came down, including you guys, wanting to see us do as well as we can. And we did really good, things considered.
Over the course of the following year, Justin and his team will once again devote all their free time, energy, and funds to get the 4619 ready for next year's event. While King of the Hammers is sure to grow within the upcoming years, it is doubtless that Justin Reece and the Rusty Nail family will remain an integral part.
Came here to watch Justin Reece. He is a legend in the Toyota racing world, an absolute legend.
So I'm Casey Curry. We're here at the King of the Hammers, and you know, I grew up around a motorsport family, but not in the professional racing aspect, and truly just got the opportunity through hard work. In this sport, it takes a lot of work and a lot of grinding. You're never gonna get on top from the beginning. So I swept the floors, I cleaned panels, I started at the bottom, and man, you just gotta keep pushing, and when you're at rock bottom, you're gonna go further down. So it's a difficult path, but honestly, it's worth the reward. So anybody can do anything they want, you just gotta have the right mindset. So for myself, I just never gave up in the toughest times, and I feel that the reward is worthwhile. I feel, you know, if anybody wants to come out and come to the Hammers, you should try to get a hold of a team. Come out, just wrench, be a mechanic, go to a pit, help out, and you know, people that know that there's talent out there, everyone will get a chance.
We've owned this truck for 15 years. It's a 1967 FJ45 pickup truck. We've driven cross country 4 times. We've been the 4619 chase truck for the last 4 years. 35 years ago, my wife and I bought our first Land Cruiser, which we still own to this day, and I've always been a desert rat. I mean, we've been coming out to the King of the Hammers since the mid-1960s when I was 10 years old. We live about an hour and a half away, so this is like our backyard.
Growing up as a child, I had my hands in everything that had anything moving on it, like from scooters, bicycles, weed eaters, any of that stuff was kind of where I started working on things, and that's a fond memory to me. I mean, it's funny to think about now, but and I knew I was going to get into four-wheeling early because my dad had a John Deere Gator, and I beat that thing within an inch of its life. I mean, I drove it in the lakes, rock crawled it. I actually loaded it up on a trailer at one point, took it out to the desert north of Grand Junction, and wheeled all night long, and like 16 years old, so it was a blast. I've met a ton of really great people, and some of the, you know, famous people are cool to meet and stuff. I will say I've only been starstruck one time. It was Dan McMillan, and we were pulling up to qualify, and I was like, holy crap, that's Dan McMillan. But You know, there's a lot of great people running with Mike Clinton in Unlimited class. That has been a great friendship for a long time, and he taught me a ton. I mean, he's the one that really, I mean, when we first started prepping race cars, we didn't really know what to do, you know, like, well, I guess we changed the oil, but he was like, no, you got to take the whole thing apart, you know. So that was a big thing. And then just the people that are not even directly involved in racing on a day-to-day basis, kind of like we are throughout the year, is those are major friendships as well. You know, that these guys just come once a year and help you put together something. My first experience racing, I would have been 32 years old, and it was racing King of the Hammers in 2009. And we were just trying to finish the race. And we pulled over because somebody had broke down, they were out of gas, we gave them gas, and then we ended up in a bottleneck in a rock canyon, and me and my co-driver jumped out of the car to go help the guys in front of us get moving so we could keep going on the race course. And we had set our helmets on the cowl of the truck, and Shannon Campbell, which I later found out we got in front of him because he had broken down for like 4 hours. We got in front of Shannon Campbell at some point, and he drove over the side of our car, over our tires, and our helmets fell off, and my co-driver's helmet got ran over. Mine avoided it, but when we got back to the car, his helmet was pretty much flat in a pile of rocks. And he's like, what should I do? And I go, puff it out and stick it back on your head. Let's get going. What keeps me coming back to King of the Hammers, and I would even elaborate on that question a little bit, is 4600 class. I mean, I've had opportunities to go to another class, but the camaraderie and the brotherhood in 4600 class definitely keeps me coming back, and they're great competitors, fun guys. You know, a guy could be leading the race and they'll pull over and help people, or, you know, if something bad was to happen, I mean, they're the first guys out of their cars helping you. So I see our team in the future retiring the 4619 and stepping up into 4800 class. One thing that I would like to do before the old 19 retires is I would like to run it in either the Nora Mexican 1000 or the Baja 1000, one of those two races, and then let her be a trail rig for the rest of her life. If I had to convince somebody to participate in King of the Hammers, I would say there's many ways to participate, all the way from spectating to driving. And I would say figure out if you want to get out of your comfort zone in your life and go see something that's absolutely nuts, but in a great way. And there's 100,000 people out there on the lake bed, and you know, somebody described it as Burning Man for gearheads, and you don't have to be into automotive stuff at all or racing, any of that, but it's a total spectacle, force you out of your comfort zone. If you're interested in that, then come check it out.
Quick story about Justin. His first car was a 1984 Toyota Land Cruiser FJ60. That was his baby. He worked on it all the time. I remember him being 16 years old, and like his first big addition was a lock-right locker, which is like in the racing world now, like people don't use lock-right lockers. But anyways, so we would always have these bonfires at the end of my parents' property, and my parents loved it because, you know, we were down there, teenagers, drinking beer on the property. They didn't have to worry about us going out and messing around. Well, I got tired, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go to bed. And then my brother wakes me up like 2 hours later, and he's like, Cameron, wake up, I rolled the cruiser. And I'm like, no, you didn't, shut up, don't worry about it. Then he had this KC light in his hand that he had mounted on the post, and it was just like clamshelled. And I'm like, oh my God, you did. So what he was doing is he was doing Brody's in a cow pasture down at my parents' property, and then just ended up laying it over. And it's sad that Land Cruiser's now like at the steel factory for getting recycled, or got recycled back then, but I'm sure he feels real foolish about this Land Cruiser that's worth thousands and thousands of dollars now, where he just rolled it over into a pasture. But Justin, my brother, he's been an older brother. He's 2 years older than me. I've always looked up to him. We're totally different by looks, by personality. He's a natural born leader. Like down at King of the Hammers, People always look for his direction, and he has always the right wisdom, and he memorizes things with cars and transmissions and axles and all these different ratios that he has so much knowledge about. And he's like the go-to guy. When he was living up in Oregon for 21 years, people called him all the time for Land Cruiser advice. And I would call him too, and I'd be like, yeah, I'm taking out the clutch out of this FJ60. Need some advice. And he'd be like, oh, take the 17 millimeter and then take out the fork. And like he knew, like he could do it like at the back of his hand. I mean, I know that's a cliche, but people would call him up there all the time for parts. And now him living here in Colorado, he's building that clientele, if you will, of people that are into the Land Cruiser world. And he still has people from Oregon, but with him being a natural born leader, and which really fits in well because people look for him for advice. They come down to King of the Hammers, and people want to make him proud and for his race team, because our pit crew down there, like we've talked about before, is something that a lot of big professional race teams that do it for a living would kill for. The team that we have at Rusty Nail Racing. And I think that's a lot to do with Justin's loyalty to people and his leadership skills, and he makes people feel important, and he's just fun to be around. I mean, I don't even want to say this, but because it'll give him a big head, but he is like a stand-up comedian. People just want to hug him like a teddy bear. He's just a real big, caring guy, and so I think that's why people love him.
Our formula for success in stock class and how I've put together the 4619 truck, it's a 1985 Toyota pickup. It has an LC Engineering 22RE motor in it, which is about as much money as you can throw at 100 horsepower. It has a W56 5-speed manual transmission. It has a Marlin Crawler front, gear-driven transfer case 4.7-to-1 front box, and then it has a Dana 300 rear box that's stock, with the exception of it has different output shafts. It has a diamond axle front housing with a 9.5-inch center section, 80 series knuckle balls, RCB shafts, ARB, locking differential, selectable locking differential, 488 gears, non-hardened, just with 100 horsepower. I don't think I need hardened ring and pinion, and so far that's been true. It has Hellfire knuckles on the outside so I get the steering up front, and it has a ported ram assist box. The rear axle is it's, believe it or not, it's a stock 80 series Land Cruiser full float housing that I've done some Rusty Nail Racing stuff to. We just built a homemade truss that actually turned out really good, and it has 300M rear axle shafts, 488 gears, ARB, drilled and slotted rotors. All the gears are set up the way I set up ring and pinions, and they've proven to be tough as nails. I am 100% sold on Maxxis Trepidors, at least in stock class for running DOTs. They're amazingly tough tires. I have literally shattered a wheel around a tire, and then I took that tire and I put it on another wheel, and it was still okay. So they've proved to me for sure that they're the toughest tires. I buy those tires. I could get free tires all day long, and I take the tires that I buy because I believe in them. ARB air locker is another one of those that I buy them because I'm not going to take free junk. And then the cage and all of that work was done by a company in Arizona, Cross Step Customs, and myself. I went down there for 2 weeks and went through. We built this truck in a few months down in Arizona. So I think that's pretty much it. Oh, like the biggest thing on the truck. Sky's off-road. So this is a crazy thing. Like, how do you make leaf springs go fast in the desert? And there's desert guys that do it, but it's always just in the rear, you know? So we've been working with Sky's manufacturing out of Eugene or Springfield, Oregon since 2014, trying to make a spring pack work right. And we got this pretty dialed in. I mean, these springs, they'll last. They're
super durable, but I mean, you can drive across cobbles like this pretty much as fast as you want and you can't even feel it. It has ADS shocks, 14-inch stroke, 2.5-inch bore, just remote reservoir shocks. And those guys are awesome to work with too. I mean, they've helped us with our tune several times, and it's fun to get their tuner in that rides in trophy trucks all day long, and then he gets in this and he's just laughing. He's like, this is the shit.